Welcome back to the Nutrition Exchange podcast. My name is Priscilla.
And I'm Anush. Welcome.
So, we have a really important topic to discuss today, protein. You want to tell us a little bit more about it?
Yes, today we're talking about protein. The only thing that people argue more about than politics is how many grams they need after leg day.
Oh my god. Because it's so true. It's so crazy how widespread that is.
Mm-hmm.
But as you will see, it just depends on the person.
For sure. We'll go into details later.
Exactly. Yep. So we're first gonna actually start off with, some of the chemistry of protein. So what's really fascinating about protein itself is that it has actually an element from the periodic table called nitrogen. And nitrogen is only found in protein. It's not found in carbs, it's not found in fat, and only in protein. Exactly.
So
Yeah.
interesting.
Yep. And the actual chemical structure, N, so for short, nitrogen is N. So it's
the symbol.
in the symbol. Exactly. Yeah. So that's really fascinating because nitrogen really helps build. It's just like the building block of the amino acids. Yeah. And so that's pretty much the foundation of chemistry. Like I said, nitrogen very unique to it. But a fun fact is that even though last week we talked about carbs and this week we're talking about protein, technically the body needs less protein compared to fats.
And compared to glucose.
Exactly. Yeah. So to be technical, the order of the macronutrients is carbs to fat and protein. Yep.
So it prefers glucose first, then fat, and then protein.
Exactly.
But everyone is talking about protein. Everyone is concerned about protein.
Yep.
Protein this, protein that.
Yeah, it's just the latest trend, and it's been happening for I think some while now.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the amino acids because we know protein is a big term. It has amino acids, so the building blocks of proteins are going to be amino acids. So little amino acids, structures combined makes you a protein. But there are two types of amino acids, the building blocks, essential and non-essential. And by the name of the words, you can tell which one it is. Essential means your body cannot make it. It's essential that you get it from your diet, like exogenous sources, not internal.
And that's a good word. Yeah, right? Exogenous versus
coming
endogenous,
from
right?
Yes, so coming from outside, it's a textbook word that we had to learn.
Yep.
Yes, so
yeah, I know you haunted me when you just said that word. I'm like, oh,
it just came to my mind.
Yeah, exactly.
I had to say it. So essential amino acids are gonna be our 9 that we had to memorize. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember any?
I do. Yeah, I think it was our biochemistry class.
Yeah.
It wasn't just. I mean, what I remember the most is the final exam because we had to know all of them. We had to memorize all of them because basically.
And even the structures, not only the names.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. The structures, but I don't know if you remember this too. But even like the symbol for short. Like we had to know like phenylalanine, what was it for short? Which was just
like PHE.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Just
it was crazy.
Fun times though.
It was fun. Yeah. I was learning it with my niece.
Oh really?
She was sitting next to me. She was like repeating it with me. Leucine, lysine.
Oh, that's so cute. I'm sure that totally helped you to remember them.
It did for sure. Yeah. It made it fun.
Yeah.
So leucine, lysine, isoleucine, I remember those.
Yep.
And we had like phenylalanine, we had threonine, methionine. Which one am I missing?
Yep.
Valine.
Oh yeah, valine.
And histidine.
Yep. So those are all the essential.
The essential ones, that means we have to get them from our diets, from the food. Okay? Yep. And we have the non-essential amino acids, which means our bodies can make them. They're not essential. They don't have to come from exogenous sources, meaning our diets, from the food. But some of these amino acids are very interesting. They can be glucogenic and ketogenic.
Glucogenic.
You know what it means? So glucogenic meaning generating glucose, making glucose out of amino acids. And the process is called gluconeogenesis, making new glucose
And that's what that word means, genesis,
Like
making
neo, like
new.
Genesis creating, gluconeogenesis,
Got
making
it.
new protein, new glucose from the protein.
Yep.
And some of these amino acids can turn into fats, like they can be ketogenic. Only a few are ketogenic. Most of them are glucogenic. So ketogenic, leucine, lysine, those two can become ketone bodies.
Oh, got it, got it. And I feel like an easy way to remember that is like, individuals like on a keto diet. What's a keto diet? A high fat diet.
Yes.
Yep. So think of high fats.
Yes. And some of these protein sources, they can also become catecholamines. I know it's a mouthful, but
Yeah.
for example, phenylalanine, it can turn into catecholamines. And catecholamines, you know which ones they are? They are the I think they're hormones, right? If I'm not mistaken. So epinephrine, dopamine can be produced from the phenylalanine amino acid.
Oh, wow.
Okay, let's go ahead and talk about special foods.
Yep. So when it comes to, well, basically, protein foods, so we can categorize them as animal protein or plant protein. It's so widespread nowadays, so animal protein, just like the name, it comes from
Animal
meat,
products.
pretty much, yeah, eggs, just things like that of that nature. And then plant protein is more like, non-meat, but that's specific to plant foods, vegetables, the whole grains, things like that.
So, what is complete protein, one may ask?
Oh yeah. So basically, so as you have been describing about the amino acids, so complete protein means when a food product or has all 9 of the essential amino acids versus an incomplete protein does not have all of the 9 essential amino acids. So for example, so when it comes to plant foods, because usually plant foods, it's pretty notorious for, oh, it doesn't have all the protein, or if someone is like an actual athlete that really needs a protein, like, oh, I can't get my protein from plant foods, let's say, you are wrong. You could get, so my personal favorite that I love for, the texture, the flavor, but especially the protein content is quinoa. Quinoa's really good. Not just quinoa, you have soy,
Edamame is my
edamame.
favorite snack.
Yeah, so good.
And it's soy based.
Exactly, yep. And it has all the protein. Yep. And then several seeds, of course. You have hemp seeds, chia seeds, whole grains like buckwheat, amaranth, and even nutritional yeast, by the way.
Do you want to elaborate a little bit on nutritional yeast?
Yeah. So it's like, is it grain based?
I'm not sure if it is, to be
Yeah,
honest.
but it's such a good substitute, not just for vegans, but it's almost like it's like a nutty, cheesy flavor to it.
I've tried it.
Yeah, but it's no dairy nor nothing, and with just 2 tablespoons alone, that gives you 5 to 8 grams of protein. So imagine just putting that on like really anything, you know,
In the soups that you're
exactly,
making.
yeah, or just, I mean, salads, exactly, yeah.
I think mostly like savory dishes.
Yeah, that's
Not
a good
like
point.
you can't
Definitely more
mix it with
savory.
sweet. I don't know
Yeah.
if you can, maybe.
Yeah, that's a
It's
good
like
point. I mean, I'm sure there's maybe recipes like that, but I would say for the most part savory.
Or like
Yeah.
cheesecake, maybe. I don't know.
Exact-
It has a cheesy flavor.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Maybe walk us through the complementary protein combinations that people can focus on.
Yeah, definitely. So, okay, so as we just discussed, so there are individual foods like meat, quinoa, soy, all that good stuff that has the actual complete protein. But of course, let's say you don't want quinoa with every meal, or you don't want soy with every meal or every single day, right? So, what's really cool is that there are certain foods that have different amino acids that maybe other foods don't have it. So what you could do, so that's what this is all about. It's called complementary protein combinations, where let's take for the example, especially like the Hispanic community knows very well, rice and beans, right? So yeah, you hear that all the time, but it's true. Like rice and beans, they have both different amino acids, but you complement them together and it gives you what?
Complete protein.
Exactly. Yep. So rice and beans, but you also have peanut butter on whole wheat bread. You have hummus with pita, and
Love
even
those options.
exactly right. Yeah, and even oatmeal with pumpkin seeds. So it's just a very brief examples, but yeah, it goes to show that, pretty much almost every single meal, has protein, and you can always just, make them in different ways and combine different foods.
You just have to experiment.
Exactly, just a little bit, especially if you're more protein conscious, but we'll get more into that with that. Anush will talk about more of the protein needs.
Okay, cool. And let's go over the protein and dehydration.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. So this
Tell
is
us more.
actually, yeah, definitely. So this is actually pretty fascinating to me because also another cool fun fact. I mean, these everything has been fun facts, but so the more protein you need, or specifically protein from animal meat, you actually need to drink more water, because the more protein intake you consume, the more it potentially dehydrates you. And the reason being, of course, not to get into like the too in detail with the metabolic changes, urea production, what happens, more protein, it really puts a stress on the kidneys. So with that, you end up producing the urea from the ammonia, and that gets secreted, or increase urination,
Right.
things like that. So that's why, for example, patients or just individuals who have impaired kidney function, what do they get told?
Limit your protein intake.
Exactly. Yep.
And one more thing I wanted to mention, maybe the burn clients, clients who had been victims of burn victims. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
So they are covered with wounds, and when they go to the ICU, what does the doctor mostly do, right? They have to figure out with the dietitian what to do next. Do they supply water? Do they give them protein first, intravenous protein, gastric feeding? Let's say their gastric tract doesn't even work and it has to be intravenous. You have to make sure that a formula you choose has enough water in it. So you want to calculate the needs.
Oh,
You want to
so
make
same
sure.
thing, yeah.
You want to make sure you don't dehydrate your client, because unfortunately, and I've heard about this, there have been cases that the client unfortunately has passed away because of that, because of dehydration. So protein, of course, is important with any client who have wounds, a lot of bodily wounds. But hydration is more important. So
In
correct
this
the
case, right?
hydration first, then go into the protein. Obviously, you have to have a discussion with interdisciplinary team, and
Definitely.
the doctor has to approve. But you have your own say there as a dietitian.
Wow, that's so fascinating. Because one, of course, would think like, oh, like, protein right away. The patient needs protein, but no, in this case, just like you're saying, like first the water and then following the protein.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm sure it depends on the stages of the wounds and all that good stuff. But
Exactly.
yeah, I
And
didn't even know, actually, to be honest with you, that dietitians, they can work at like actual burn centers. And it's very interesting.
so let's tell them like how they can do some conversions and calculations.
Yep, because this is very important to know, because, with protein, it's not just like a theory or like a science thing. Like, no, you can actually like calculate your protein needs.
And you can figure it out on your own. You don't have to
Exactly.
go to a dietitian for them
Yeah,
to do it for you.
exactly. Right, right. And just it's important to know,
Mhm.
even if it's like your baseline. Like, let's say you want to do sports in the future, like maybe knowing your baseline now and then knowing and just comparing. But yeah, so
Exactly.
exactly, yeah, so knowing the calculations are
Mhm.
good.
So people here, they calculate their weights on, they measure their weight based on pounds. Some of them are not used to kilograms. So how to convert your weight in pounds into kilograms? Divided by 2.2, right?
Yeah.
Now you have your weight in kilograms. And then you have to figure out your protein needs. Before it had to be 0.8, so 0.8 times the body weight in kilograms, and then you get your needs per day. That's for used to be for the average person. Now it had changed a little bit,
Yeah.
so it increased.
Wow.
Based on the USDA, the recommended dietary allowances, they became 1.2 to 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. So that's for the average person, obviously.
Yeah.
And then your needs can go up if you're in an anabolic state. For example, you're a bodybuilder, you're an athlete, you have to build muscle mass, and maybe you're a woman who is pregnant, their needs are also higher than an average person. But there is this heavy emphasis on protein, which is coming from bodybuilding industry mostly, that you need protein.
And even from the government now. We'll talk more about that, but the government now
They are
just,
scaring people out.
yes, that we're just so that protein is such a scarcity that we don't have protein here.
You need protein in every meal. Obviously, you do,
Exactly.
but you don't have to be scared. So it's fascinating that your body can synthesize. It can synthesize certain amount of protein. It can turn the protein to muscle, and there is a threshold. For example, at one sitting, it can be between 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal that can become muscle, can synthesize into becoming muscle, because not all protein that we eat goes to our muscles. It doesn't become muscle, especially if you don't work out. So protein can become, just like we said before, um, catecholamines. It can become helpful in hormone synthesis, not only for muscle building, right? So eating more doesn't necessarily turn into muscle mass. So that's what I wanted to mention. But protein priorities, I would say focus on animal whole food sources because
Yeah.
they're complete protein, but also from whole food plant sources.
Yep.
Some examples, like general protein sources, just to mention. Did you mention before?
Yeah.
You briefly talked about it.
Yep, yep.
But yeah, eggs,
Eggs, yeah.
meat, lean meats mostly,
Yep.
seafood. Red meat is a good source too, but don't focus too much on like getting your protein from meat directly.
Yeah.
Vary your intake, include variety. Okay, so maybe you can talk about like the cases that people, mostly like clients, might need more protein.
More protein needs. Yep, definitely. Yeah. So, as we're gonna discuss more about the politics behind the more protein that they're saying that we need, so but there are cases that patients that really do need more protein needs, and it's like you had mentioned earlier, burn patients, those who develop sepsis, those who have malnutrition, especially if they exhibit muscle wasting in any parts of the body, those who have chronic pancreatitis, liver cirrhosis, and cancer. Yeah, so of course, not in every case. It depends. It depends on your conditions. It depends on what's going on, whether or not you do need more protein.
Every individual is different.
Yep, exactly, exactly. And that's why it's just emphasizing it again, but why calculating your needs beyond important.
It's important.
Yeah.
And it's like protein propaganda. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, because
Because
it really
it's
is.
in everything. Protein chips, protein coffee.
I remember even when Starbucks, when they announced their protein drinks, I was actually so confused. I'm like, what? Protein in their drinks? Why? And then I even thought like it might even have a bit of a weird flavor. Like, why would I want that in my drink?
Some of them are pretty good, but there comes this question like, if you're getting your protein from chips,
Good
from the
point.
junk,
Right.
is it actually giving you more benefits or harming you?
Or more harm? See, that's such an excellent question because for them, for basically the government or the food industries, it's like, oh, it's like, win-win. Like they're buying our products or buying our food, and they're making you think that you need more protein. Because yeah, exactly, the protein chips, the protein drinks, protein this, protein that. But in reality, we really think that they're just using it as a dietary tool,
And it's a
to
good
increase
marketing.
their sales. Exactly.
It's a good marketing strategy.
Yep, unfortunately, because they're not gonna, you know, say like, oh, eat our chips that have fat. Like no, like people are gonna be like, what? We don't want fat. You know, that's why, and they're not gonna really say carbs. Chips are already carbs. They're refined carbs. So then the only thing that they have left is fiber or the protein.
True.
Yeah.
But let's talk about protein supplementation since
Yep.
we went over those products and marketing.
Yep.
So whole foods versus powder drinks, powder, protein shakes, protein bars. There are a lot out there.
So many, so
But
many brands, everything.
but I want to state that we are not completely against protein powders and protein supplementations.
Why? Because it depends on the person.
Exactly. Every individual is different.
Yep.
But obviously, we want to emphasize getting the protein from whole foods.
Yep.
But we also understand that it's not possible for every human being because some may have trouble shopping more often. Some may have problem, they don't have time. They don't have time to cook.
Yeah.
And also, some people want to have more variety and they want to try some products out, which is not bad.
Exactly, yeah.
So what can they do? They should read the labels.
Yep.
And the ingredients
Yep.
should be like from whole sources.
Yeah. That's what we would mainly critique about are the ingredients.
Ingredients.
Really. Yeah.
Let's say the first ingredient should be like, let's say it is guar gum, a stabilizer. And it's the first ingredient. Do you want to choose that product or no?
Nope, definitely not. Especially because usually, of course, the first ingredient of any product, that's the most quantity in that product.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So making wise decisions. I'm not gonna name any brands. Obviously, I have my favorites, but
Yep.
you make your own wise choices based on reading the labels.
Yep.
And also, if you're choosing a protein bar, you want it to contain 15 grams of protein, 20 grams of protein. Some bars may state that they are protein bars,
Right on the
but they are
label.
just sugar bars.
Exactly. That's why just definitely looking at the ingredient list and the nutrition facts label because some of them are so processed. Some of they're just it makes me almost like gag a little like oh gosh like that's just too much.
Or they can just be candy bars because
Yes.
you want to make sure even the sugar content is low. Like 5 grams is ideal, 5 to 7 grams per bar. It's
Right.
better. It's a better choice than, for example, 20 grams of sugar.
Right.
20 grams of sugar and then comparing it to a 10 grams of protein.
Right.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, and those bars tend to really pack on a lot of protein. They're probably adding, like you said, like the gar gum and these other ingredients just to maybe help offset the flavor. Because I've tasted like protein from like drinks, and it's actually not a very pleasant flavor.
No,
And
not
you
at all.
could taste that it's like manufactured. It's not like coming from even like animal products, plant food sources. Like no, it's
Right.
just it's very synthetic.
It has that synthetic protein powdery taste. I don't know how to say
Right.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. So obviously choose your favorite brand. Some brands are better because they're pre-digested. That's how they source it and manufacture it. So it's gonna be easier on your stomach,
Yeah.
especially if you have GI distress.
Yeah.
But best way is to actually spread out your protein intake, include variety, mostly from whole foods, quality protein, tofu, legumes, beans, nuts,
Yeah.
seeds. And then focus on adding more additional supplements.
Exactly. Yep, yep. Yeah, just really depending, do you exercise? Are you actually active? You know, just do you have any, of course, any conditions, things like that.
Taking those
So,
into consideration.
yeah, definitely, definitely. So, of course, what's the saying? One shoe, one say, one shoe does not fit all.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
100%.
definitely.
Okay. Those are our recommendations.
Yep. Yeah.
That's it for today.
Yep. So thank you so much
Thank you
for
very much.
joining us today, and please subscribe.
Subscribe to our channel.
Yep, and please, give us some feedback, like, and just let us know like what topics you want us to talk about more, or things to go back and maybe talk about more.
Thank you.
Yep, definitely. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.